Hello, this is the Anime Outlook here, and today I'm going to be reviewing and discussing and reacting, however you want to say it, to World Trigger's chapters 218 and 219. Now, these chapters were interesting in their own right. To other viewers who aren't World Trigger fans, they might have been boring and filler kind of chapters. However, to me, as a World Trigger fan, I loved these chapters. But before I go into why and what these chapters mean, please do hit that like and subscribe button. It means a lot, and I'm trying to get back into making more videos, so hopefully it'll give me some motivation. And do comment in the comment section what exactly you liked about this chapter, and what character did you like the most in this chapter, because that's something I find really interesting, because World Trigger has such a vast amount of characters, just in a single chapter alone. I'm intrigued to see what your favourite character or quote from this chapter is, so please do let me know. But now going into chapter 218. Now this chapter 218, I like this chapter because it's fundamentally World Trigger. It's so much exposition, so much information. We can just get together and analyse it to an unholy amount of depth. With chapter 218, we start off with seeing some of OG Squad's matches. Andy Coma just going, crap! They lost the game and he got destroyed. So we see that even the most proficient users of triggers in just your rank wars aren't the greatest at this sort of setup. But we get to see that they've had 2 wins, 1 loss and 2 draws. So overall, not a bad score. And we just get to see that they're all kind of struggling to keep up with the system and to use it in a optimum way. But moving on, we get to our main squad, Sewer Squad, and we get to see the special assignment that we were left off with a cliffhanger in last chapter. And the special assignment is, why did the matches of the B rank wars pit 3 or 4 squads against each other? Think over the possible reasons. Now, what I first saw about this was, this is a very easy question. I'm jealous of this question. Normally a World Trigger, with the other questions, with the maths questions and the analytical ones, I'm not jealous of those because, you know, they take some hard work and analytics. However, this question is really easy, and it's something that I think a lot of us World Trigger fans just naturally think of when we're rank war situation and our own characters for roleplay or such. But what they realise is that, what Suwa realises, and Osamu points out here, is that this special assignment doesn't say to think it over as a team. So this kind of shows that the higher-ups are putting some leeway upon our characters, giving yet another situation in which our characters have to think on the spot on how to use their time effectively, how to operate as a team. Overall, this really is a work scenario. If you've worked in an office or if you've worked just in any job, you can realise that this sort of situation is perfect for a job. It's not for a school situation, it's not for a militaristic one, it's more just general workplace etiquette and showing off your CV or your resume. It's saying that you've got good communication, good solid skills and teamwork just within the normal spectrum of a person, which is something I really connect to with. But going back to the characters, Suwa makes Osamu to do the special assignment. We get to see that Suwa effectively analyses the situation and realises that him and Mikumo are the only ones they can spare in the battle simulation. And he realises that Osamu is good at this kind of thing rather than the battle games, in a sense. He's good at thinking about situations and thinking deep, especially because he's someone who just stupors in himself and thinks too much in general. But this is also relating to previous chapters in which Osamu opened up to Suwa and literally just said he doesn't feel like he's needed and he feels like he's bringing everyone else down. And Suwa's using this opportunity to give Osamu reason to do something and purpose within the team, which is something I really like, and it shows a good team dynamic. But moving on, we get to see other squads. We get to see the Wakamura squad, in which I was really disappointed with Wakamura completely. He didn't know what to do. He sat there thinking to himself, not talking to his teammates. And because their team's having a hard time, he just sits there and stupors and can't make a decision. So inevitably, one of his squad members has to make the decision for him, and he just goes, sure, thanks, Hisato. And even himself says that it's a relief that someone else made the decision. So overall, I do not find Wakamura as good material, and I don't really understand why he was given this position in the first place, because he's not built for it, and inevitably, I don't think he's initially built to be a soldier in the first place either. From what we've seen previously, I think Wakamura hasn't really showed us any skill, and I do feel for him because I can relate to him in that way of that you just don't know what to do and you're stuck. But as a character that I'm reading, it does irritate me slightly. But then we get to one of my favourite characters at the moment in World Trigger, Mizukami, the main man, who's really making these chapters really intriguing for me these days, just from his unique perspective and his unique way of controlling his members. Well, I say controlling, but they're not puppets, but with Mizukami, I'm sure he can put some strings on them. But the fact that they don't even know about the battle simulation, he just gives them all the special assignment tasks to think through, which is genius. Then we've got the Kitazoa squad, which I didn't really... They picked Kitazoa because they all started arguing. And then we go to the Murakami squad, with basically the nicest people you can have. However, because they're nice, it creates the situation of which everyone's like, I'll do it. They're all considerate of each other. It really points out that for a team, you need a mix of personality. But you might want to have some variety, because if everyone's similar and everyone's considerate, not much is going to progress. You need someone to make direct decisions. It's the same sort of situation as with Wakamura, but less irritating, because they're all like, oh, I'll do it. It's just conflict within the members rather than within themselves. Then we get to the Ninomiya squad, in which he literally just deals out orders left and right, and to be honest, that's my kind of leadership. So he just gets Emma to do it, and then we get a little weird situation with him and Emma, in which Ninomiya says, you truly want to go on the away mission, yes? And Emma's confused at how he knows all this. How does he know that he wants to find his master and find the shooter? It's an intriguing situation. We're not given much, but I really want to see where this goes. Then we've got the Utagawa squad, in which we get to see Kotaro really stand up and say, I want to do this. Not something we see very typically with his character, although we haven't seen much of his character in general, because we have 10,000 characters to remember their names of, and I just can't do it. For everyone who remembers every character in World Trigger, I applaud you, and I need your skills. Think back to the chapter, Stanzum says he wants to do the special assignment, and the really cute situation is that all the team members have been instructed by Kotaro's team leader that if he wants to do something and he actually volunteers for something, let him do it. So it really shows that he is a trusted member, and that when it comes down to it, he does his job right. And we get a nice, interesting hint from Yuma, and the fact that his dad was the one who came up with the system, with giving a little reminder. So even the fact that Yuma wanted to do it, because he had the cheat codes, he couldn't, because he's not very efficient at reading and writing, sadly, because if Yuma did that task, they would have got 100%, because he's basically cheating. It's nepotism at its worst. However, it's all good because Yuma's a nice guy and just lets Kotaro do it. And to end this chapter in what I think is a really good cliffhanger, if we didn't already have chapter 219 on the fray, is that we've got Jin, who after looking at the board and what's going on and the point system, and no matter how much I look at it, I just cannot analyse who's winning and who's losing right now, he gets summoned by the top brass, and he specifically says, since I can't go on the away mission myself, I've got to make up for it elsewhere any way I can. which makes me think there's a plot coming up ahead. There's going to be some sort of situation where he's going to manipulate behind the scenes to either help the away mission or to prevent something happening while the people are on the away mission, because it's all going to be all your A rankers and some of your B rankers. So Border's going to be pretty weak at the point of the away mission to retrieve all the C rank agents. So what I find from chapter 218 is that Jin has something coming up, something that will blow our minds, hopefully, because every time Jin does something, I am just heavily impressed. But then going on to chapter 219, I'm not going to spend too much time on this chapter because it's just analysing everything that the people wrote for the special assignments, and I don't want to bore you all to death and have a ridiculously long video. But what we can see is that Osamu just thinks through clearly, and that, for me, the most interesting part of this chapter, I mean, everything was interesting as a World Trigger fan, but if you're just a casual fan, the most interesting part is the very last page. It is the fact that Suicide Squad has 2 wins, 7 losses, and 1 draw. Now, this is much less than what I was expecting, especially because Kateri's a gamer, and we know she likes to play games. So it does baffle me the fact that they're doing so poorly. However, you get to see that OG is making plans and thinking of the future. When Kateri just says, "Is there any point to this stuff?" when pointing at the battle simulations, and OG specifically says, "You bet there was. We saw a string of 5 losses in the first half, but finished strong, with 2 wins, 2 losses, and a draw in the latter." So we see that progress is being made, and that maybe our squad for Osamu has a chance of getting in the top ranks, because with OG his sniper ways, he's trying to think of formations and future battle plans that can be used. But one thing is that I'm happy that we're not focusing too much on the battle simulation games, because I think that would be just a lesser version of Rank Wars, and it's something that we don't really need right now. So I'm thankful that we're not being given all this information, all these battle simulations, rather than just having another Rank Wars, which we will get in the next section of the away mission, which I'm looking forward to. But then we're left with another cliffhanger, and this is something that World Trigger's getting really good at, for especially the fans that are into it. The cliffhangers just intrigue you that the day 2 scores just came in, and as I hope you all are, I'm very excited to find out in the next chapters what the scoreboard's looking like, because from what we can see, Osamu did pretty well in the special assignment by himself, only came 2nd or 3rd by clearing stages 4. So I'm really intrigued to see, because they do have 7 losses, which might have a heavy point deficit, to bore you with getting into numbers and details and such. So thank you for listening. I hope this was a good video to get back into watching me, because I'm going to be planning to make videos at least bi-weekly from now on. So thank you very much for listening. I did enjoy these chapters, and I hope you did too. Put in the comments what you rank these chapters and what you feel the battle simulation is going to come up to, and how the story is going to progress from here. I'm really intrigued to see what you guys say. However, thank you for watching. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you all later. Bye, and thank you.